In this video, I will tell you about making isometric drawings in AutoCAD. And isometric drawings are simply 2D drawings, but they look like a 3D drawing. And generally the angle on which the axis is inclined for making an isometric drawing is 30 degrees. So in this case, we have this drawing, which is an isometric drawing, obviously. And although it looks like a 3D drawing, it's actually a 2D drawing. And we'll learn about making this same geometry here. So for making the isometric drawing, it is always advisable to keep the grid on, and you can click on the first object snap option here to make the grid on. Now this is the normal grid here, the orthographic grid, and in order to convert it into an isometric grid, or in order to convert the drawing area into an isometric drawing area, you need to select the ISO draft option. So you can select the ISO draft option and select the appropriate value, or you can simply click on this ISO draft or isometric draft mode from the status bar. So now click on it and the grid will change to any one of the isometric planes. So just right beside this ISO draft status bar option, you'll see these three planes. So we have the ISO plane right, the top and left. Now depending upon your selection, the ISO plane may look like any of these three. So we will first start with this isoplane top and make sure this isoplane top is selected. So you can change these isometric planes from this status bar option, or you can also press the F5 function key to change them, just like this. So now we are on the isoplane top. Let's start making this geometry, and for making that I'll select the polyline tool. Now click anywhere in the drawing area to start this geometry and make sure it goes towards this direction. The 30-degree angle should be visible on the tooltip. Now enter the length, which is 50, and press enter. Now move your cursor towards this side and once again a distance of 100 unit and press enter. Now move it towards left again, type 50, press enter. Now join it with the starting point here and press enter. So now we have this closed rectangle. So let's select it. Now go to the copy tool, click on any of its vertices, move it downwards and enter a distance of 40 unit and press enter. Now press enter again to exit the command. Now I'll select the line tool and I'll join all of these vertices. So join these vertices, press enter and repeat it. Go to these vertices, join them and join these vertices. Okay, so now we have these geometries. Now we will make this part of this isometric drawing, and for that I'll once again select the line tool and I'll click on the midpoint of this line. Now move it towards this direction and enter a distance of 30 unit and press enter. Now move it towards this side and click at this intersection point. Now move it downwards and enter a distance of 20 unit, press enter, then move it towards left and join it with this point. Okay, so here we have these geometries. Now we need to clean this drawing a little bit, and for cleaning that we can use the trim tool. So go to the modify panel, select the trim tool, press enter. Now we'll remove this part and this part. Also we'll remove these parts of the drawing carefully and just like this. So we have cleaned most of the drawing. Now we need to add these two lines. So again I'll go to the line tool and now click on this point and move it downwards, but don't click on any of these points. Now move your cursor on this point, this end point, but don't click, and now move it once again back to that point, and you can zoom into this area now to see it more clearly. So let's move it down, then go to this point, then move backwards, and when the intersection point appears for both of these directions, click and click on this point. So here we have it. So we have added this geometry as well. So the basic structure of our 3D drawing is complete, or the 3D isometric drawing is complete. Now we need to add this cylindrical structure, and we can add this cylindrical structure only after changing the plane. So we need to make this plane, the iso plane, parallel to this plane because that structure is made on this plane. So for that I'll press the F5 key and it will change to iso plane right, and that will be the plane on which we'll draw this geometry. Now this may look like a circle, but actually it's not a circle. For making this geometry we will use the ellipse tool, And for isometric drawings, you need to use the ellipse tool. So go to this ellipse flyout and select this axis and ellipse. Now look at the command line and we have an option of iso circle. So select this iso circle and now specify the center of this circle, which will be at the exact center of this square or this rectangular shape. So I'll go to this midpoint and track it downwards, but I'll not click at any point. Now I'll move to this center point and track it on the left side, and here we have the center point. Now click and enter the radius, which is 15 in this case, and press enter. So we have added the circle. Now we need to make a copy of this circle. For that, I'll go to the copy command, select the circle, press enter, click on the center point, move it in this direction and enter a distance of 50 unit, press enter. Press enter again to exit this command. So we have added both of these circles, but now we need to add these two lines. And for adding these two lines, select the line tool and go to this circle. Now you'll see this quadrant, and if you're not able to see this quadrant, go to the object snap and make sure that this quadrant option is checked. Now click on the quadrant and click on the corresponding quadrant of this circle and press enter. Press enter again to repeat the command and go to this quadrant, then this quadrant and press enter. Now obviously we need to trim the remaining portion of the geometry, so I'll select the trim tool, press enter and trim these geometries. These are no longer required, and here we have the final isometric drawing. So in this way you can create isometric drawing by changing the iso plane in AutoCAD.